Smash Ultimate is out, and if you haven't already, go and check out twitch.tv/DazzVideos as I will be streaming Smash all day today. I'll likely be streaming right now even. If not, check out the VOD of it instead as I'm away during the weekend doing a performance in Bristol. Life is busy. Anyway, hello and welcome to this video. Now, Smash Ultimate is supposed to be, obviously, the ultimate version of Super Smash Bros., returning a plethora of old content with the return of every previous character ever, many different stages from the past, as well as all sorts of assist trophies, Pokemon, and game modes. But of course, not everything could make the cut, and though the game is certainly not worse off for omitting all of these features, here's a look back on some of the best stuff now long lost officially to Smash Bros' long history. Think of it like a mini celebration of the game coming out by reminiscing on what's been so grand in the past. Number 10 is Snake's Codec. The whole concept of being able to do an analysis on every single character started in Super Smash Bros. Brill. Pit had appeared in this game too, but he wasn't fully fleshed out enough to have a full-fledged conversation with Palutena and Viridi like he does in the future games, because Snake was the very first one to do it, and it was a unique style. It was also interesting because it's a third-party character getting so much extra dialogue, which is also new to Smash as a whole. This was fun, but of course it has its replications in the form of Palutena's guidance in both Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate. It would certainly be quite cluttered if both of them were rambling about each individual character, but still it would have been kinda nice if we could have gotten Snake's opinion on some of the newbies around. Number 9 is Pokefloats. Obviously everyone's favourite stage from Smash Melee. No one ever tries to avoid that one all the time. I genuinely as a kid really enjoyed it. I even marked it as saying it's a good stage. It's not. It's an auto-scrolling level with the design constantly changing, but the concept is kind of fun. It's just a stage with a bunch of floating Pokemon models that you have to traverse a lot. It's kind of like a trophy tussle kind of stage, which I also would have loved to have come back and done more crazy things with. Still, this could have had a lot of opportunity in the new game, whether it was taking exactly the same stage and the polygonal old styles of the old Pokemon, or revamping it for the new generations, or having it be each of the generations and it transforms into more Pokemon. It could have been that it starts off with Generation 1 Pokemon and slowly progresses until it loops through all of the generations. It could have had a lot of opportunities, but I can understand why they didn't bring it back. Still though, Pokefloat still stands as one of my favourite Melee stages. It's probably a childhood thing. Number 8 is Groundon, representing one of the many Pokemon long lost to Super Smash Bros. History. I've gone with this one because, oddly enough, Kyogre, the complete opposite of Groundon, is in the game. Groundon isn't. I guess Sakurai has a preference between the two of them. Groundon would usually appear in his giant form and simply turn around on the spot. He'd use overheat to make his body very hot and damaging, but otherwise didn't do a whole lot. There's plenty of other Pokemon that could have taken this slot, but I decided to go with this one because it's just a bit weird that one half of the legendary Pokemon didn't show up. Though I guess we could say the same with Pokemon like Yveltal. Maybe it's because they appear in a Pokemon stage or the spirit form holds them back or something. Still, there were a lot of Pokemon that have been lost, particularly those starter Pokemon supposed to be representing each of the new generations as the games came by. It's a shame they're gone, but they will always be remembered. Kind of. I mean, Kyogre's the one that's got the game with the Mimi review on it. Number 7 is a stage that was very, very recently scrapped. It is Mute City. This is a level that's been existent for a long, long time. Mute City has always been the standout F-Series style stage. You're always on the road and then progressively moving on little platforms. You have to dodge the hazard of all the cars, but in Smash Ultimate it has been cut at the last minute. Despite having multiple iterations between the different games, Smash Ultimate decided to go for a completely different approach, sticking more to the Big Blue kind of style of being on top of the cars. This new Mute City also has us in the SNES style of the game, which makes sense and is a nice way of representing F-Zero, but I would have loved to have seen more of the old Mute City. Maybe it was just a classic case of the stage is so old that maybe it needs to be retired. Even still, it is a good stage, and it kind of has been duplicated over, or I guess, reimagined. Can't complain too much. Number 6 is a stage with a very short life. It is Jungle Hijinks from Super Smash Bros. 4. This was an odd little stage. I think it was the only one of its kind. Representing the Donkey Kong franchise, it's pretty good, but it has an odd background gimmick. There are two parts of the stage, one in the foreground and one in the background. I imagine this stage didn't come back because the gimmick was just a bit too gimmicky. You can't exactly fight across the entire stage, you just have to pick one of two slots, but I thought it was cool that you could actually transform from one to the other using the Donkey Kong barrels. It was a nice, gimmicky, fun idea, certainly good for casual play, but it's a shame it didn't appear, at least as some kind of extra joke stage on the side. But hey, the game has like 103 stages, not including Battlefield and Omega forms, so no one can complain. But speaking of stages that are pretty good and have a fun, simple gimmick, Pac-Maze, the most underused stage in all of Smash, having a shorter life than Jungle Hijinks because it only appears on the 3DS. The gimmick being you are on a classic 2D Pac-Man style stage. And as you collect fruit, your character becomes more powerful, and if you get a pellet, you get to use the ghosts as an extra hazard on the stage. It's clear that Smash Ultimate is trying to give you all the options by allowing every stage to have stage hazards turned off, but I still would have actually loved to have played Pac-Maze. Having the stage only available on the 3DS was kind of disappointing, and it's a shame that it seems like it's never going to make its way to console. Now all we have to represent Pac-Man is that MS Paint style one, and it auto-scrolls as well. Lovely. Hey, now you've made it halfway, why not subscribe or follow me on Twitter? And that Twitch page is still open for you. Plenty more Nintendo content awaits. How's that for a short halfway mark? Number 5 is a stage that has long since been forgotten by Smash Bros. It's one that only appeared in the Nintendo 64 version. It is Planet Zeebees. Zeebees. There's a lot of versions that I don't know how to pronounce it. Metroid has got a good chunk of stages representing the franchise, but this was the very first one. I'm not entirely sure why it never stuck around more. It seems to be a fairly simple stage. Maybe there's a lot of moving hazardous parts, but that's never really stopped Metroid games in the past. Still, this is one that has never returned, and considering there are all sorts of Nintendo 64 stages that have returned into Smash Ultimate, it's a bit of a surprise that this one didn't. Unless Nintendo specifically wanted to not represent absolutely everything. Or maybe there is some kind of upcoming expansion coming. I'm doubtful, but it seems like a nice, plain, simple stage. Just never appeared ever again. Number 3, having a similar fate to Pac-Maze, is Rainbow Road. It is another 3DS exclusive Smash stage, and it's not appearing on the next console. It seems to be pretty good, and seems like a perfect Mute City-esque stage. But Nintendo really doesn't like that style, apparently, because that's not appearing either. Seems fun and fancy, it's got some nice background styles, and it's nice to be able to actually have more Mario Kart representation. But that's all there is. You gotta play 3DS if you want to play this stage. There's even a chance that they could have expanded it more if they wanted to represent all of Mario Kart with it by maybe taking us through a series of different Rainbow Roads, since every single Mario Kart seems to have one. Would have been a nice idea, but again, that's a lot of work that I'm already asking on top of the normal workload they've got. I'm certainly not complaining about it not being around, but it's nice to have seen just how good the things were in the past. Not that I ever played it, but you get what I mean. Number 2 is Isabel. She is not in Smash Ultimate, at least not as an assist trophy. Many of the characters have appeared first in assist trophy form, or just in the background, and have now made themselves into full playable character status, but Isabel was a unique and quite fun assist trophy. She wasn't there to join you on the battlefield and attack alongside you. She was the adorable healer type, instead standing a little bit off the stage and throwing food directly at you, giving you the additional bonus of being able to just touch the food directly to heal, but opponents could attempt to interfere with the food and then take it for themselves. It's also cool because there were all sorts of cute little animations she was given depending on your status as her summoner, including being completely devastated if you were taken out while she was on the field. A really good assist trophy. I'm glad she got upgraded, in all honesty. It'd certainly be confusing if Isabel could also summon Isabel. That might get a little bit confusing. And before we reach number 1, we've got to go through our honourable mentions, and there's quite a handful of them, so I'm going to chunk them together. For a start, the lost game modes. There have been all sorts of different game modes throughout the entire Smash franchise, and though at the time of recording this I don't actually know the entire lineup of modes that are available in Smash Ultimate, there's a good chunk that have never been mentioned. The biggest one that I'm a bit more unconfirmed about is All-Star mode, appearing in every single Smash game, but obviously if the roster is expanding then it's only going to get harder and more tedious, so I can understand if it doesn't appear in this game. But others include, obviously, Smash Run from the 3DS, which seems like it would have been really interesting, Target Test, or at least certainly not Target Blast, because no one's a fan of that, Home Run Contest I haven't heard anything about, there's also the simple things like Lottery that have long been lost to the past, Event Match has been fun, but has now been transformed into Spirit Battles, there's Boss Battles mode in Brill, but maybe there will be one because of the World of Light. Smash Tour is thankfully long gone. We haven't heard anything about special orders, and of course there were those tiny little trophy minigames in between like classic mode moments and Melee and Brawl that I just kinda liked. Another honorable mention is obviously Subspace Emissary. Yeah, that's about all we need to say about that one. What we've also lost to time are old style stages. Stages that were existent in previous games but have now been recycled into new formats. Obviously we have Mute Cities being an extreme of that. We also have Flat Zone and Flat Zone 2, representing Game & Watch, and now having a completely unique level in the form of Flat Zone X. Makes sense, I don't think we'd want 3 of them. Another stage to have had this fate is PictoChat. I actually really found this to be quite fun and simple, but it's now been duplicated over into the form of PictoChat 2, which looks fun. Moving over to some other assist trophies now long gone, we have Tingle, who doesn't appear in Smash Ultimate. Does that mean he's a new character? Probably not. He appears in Great Bay, so that would still be confusing. Still, he was a good little assist trophy, creating random chaos, basically, and either creating balloons, or hammers, or bananas, all sorts of stuff going on. He was a weird one. Makes perfect sense. And of course, Dark Samus, the other playable character that used to be an assist trophy. They were particularly good because not only were they strong, but they had a diverse range of attacks and abilities. Shame they just became an Echo Fighter, but at least you can play as them. Woolly World, the stage is also now gone, thankfully. Nobody really liked the scrolling aspect and the whole transformative motion of dying on the ground, but it was a really great design, especially the way everything pushed down as you interacted with it. I really liked the design, I think many people did, but I can understand why it didn't reappear, and I think that's kind of a blessing. Moving over to more Pokemon long lost to the series, we also have the 4 Pokemon that appeared in Smash Run for the 3DS, but then hasn't reappeared in any other form so far. That includes Ghastly, Petalil, Chandelure, and Cryogonal. I don't know if we'll ever see them again, but it was interesting that they had a little bit of limelight in the sun. And as our final little Pokemon one, we also have Rayquaza. They might appear as a boss fight in Smash Ultimate, since that's the only form they came in. Boss form for the Subspace Emissary, but it would be interesting if they came back. Skull Kid also hasn't had an appearance as an assist trophy yet, but according to the website, he is there, so cool down, kids. I don't think he's appearing as a playable character. The final thing we have to say for honorable mentions are those stages that are long forgotten, and very gladly so. Icicle Mountain, Rumble Falls, and Orbital Gate. Ugh. The bad auto-scrolling hell shape-shifting thing. I heard this stage took a year to build. Ouch, that's a shame. Regardless, the #1 spot for the best missing content in Smash Ultimate is of course the Miiverse stage. As an actual stage layout, it's pretty simple and easy, anyone can get along with it. The only main gimmick is the fact that Miiverse was integrated with it, and you could try and build up your characters and be a little motivational thing in the background. It was a little distracting for the player, sure, and it was Miiverse, so things got a little bit dicey, but it was some non-invasive random fun. Obviously it's not coming back because Miiverse is gone, but it would be nice if we could get something similar like that again. Then again, maybe we should never have something like that ever again. Maybe that would be best. Yeah, we'll go with that. Do you think any of these elements could make an appearance in Smash Ultimate in some kind of expansion pack? Or is there anything you are very happy is long lost to time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I do hope you enjoyed this video of the top 10 missing content in Smash Ultimate. Now if you don't mind me, I'm gonna go master how to play as Oliver now that he's apparently good. I never was one for making good opinions or choices. Thank you to our Patreons for supporting me, and you can support me too by following this Patreon link. Any pledge gets you all rewards, including a monthly blooper reel I'm planning on making, IRL skits included. Anyway, I'm off for the weekend now, and I'll see you on Monday. Or on Twitch. My name's been Daz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit.